and I enlisted to go to the Philippine Islands, which I thought would be a great thing, because I never thought Japanese would ever attack the United States. I didn't think they were that crazy.
And there was this German money all over the place.
Oh,
German
really?
marks.
Yeah.
And we're taking it and stuffing it.
Yeah.
The lieutenant said, "What are you guys doing?" I said, "We're taking some of his money. It's no good, it's German money." He put it back, it's looting. He let us put it back. We had to put all of it back.
I enlisted in October 15th, 1940. 6 of us enlisted, 3 of us from Lowell. I was in Lowell, Massachusetts. 6 of us enlisted, 3 from Lowell and 3 from Pepperell, Mass. And I'm the only one that came back.
I wish that, if I had a wish, I wish that we could get it drilled into the people, and I don't think we ever will until the people, the generation, let their heart bleed for the people, to give their lives for this country, and the reason they give their life for it. What was it for? And but that seemed to be a lost cause or word today in some cases.
Well, these are boys, you know. They're the age of 19 and 20. Most soldiers are 19 or 20. I was 20 when I got into combat. Probably some even 17. But the main age was 18, 19, 20. That's the typical age for soldiers. Full of endurance, you know, and ability to withstand hardships.
Where do you think that comes from? I mean, some people give up, some people survive. What is it in an individual?
I don't know. They just don't have the determination.
And where does that determination come from?
I don't know.
Is it religious? Is it loyalty to your country? Is it loyalty to your comrades?
Well, that and then wanting to get back home.
Mainly get back home.
Yeah.
I'll come up to Jacksonville and join, and I'll never understand. Of course, a lot of the things I didn't understand, but if we got joined up, then we report back up to Naval Air Station, and they put us on a train and carried us to Orlando and swore us in, and then turned around and brought us back. Carried us to Parris Island, and you've heard about Parris Island. That's where I began my career in World War II as a Marine.
Everybody talked about Vietnam, and I was surprised. When people started asking me about it, that nobody even heard. I don't think anybody heard of Dien Bien Phu even, or Ho Chi. Well, they heard of Ho Chi Minh maybe, but they didn't know anything about the royalty or the history of Vietnam.
Dien Phu, you said?
Dien Bien Phu.
Yeah.
Dien Bien Phu was the famous French battle of 1954, where they were defeated in that valley, and that's when pretty much when the French Indochina, when the French lost in Indochina. That was the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. Anyway, people didn't even know that stuff.
Cam Ranh Bay was a very large, well-protected facility. It was a base, but it consisted primarily of nothing but a huge hospital complex.
I see.
And that's where they built and kept improving and sending the most doctors. I would call it the equivalent of, if you lived in Gainesville, Florida, of a Shands hospital complex, because half of our wounded were going to need surgery or at least surgical evaluations. because they had a lot of brutal wounds, mortar wounds, AK-47, truck blown up with them in it. There were the type of wounds that we saw were very debilitating, and that's why so many were on stretchers.
Yeah.
It was a great duty. I played golf. I wore shorts all the time. I thought it was great. And I never thought the Japanese would ever attack the United States. And then one morning in December, I was downstairs in my barracks. I was shaving. And one of the fellows running down the stairs, he says, the Japanese just bombed Pearl Harbor. And I heard a lot of noise, so I ran outside, and the sky was full of Japanese planes. They were strafing and bombing, and our planes were all burning on the ground. But then I turned around, my barracks was on fire. I had no weapon. That's what I had on that's all I had. My barracks was burned right down to the ground. And then I ran and I hid in some bushes on the edge of the field for that day. The next day, I was issued a rifle. And the rifle was .03s, with the bolt action, covered with cosmoline. I had to clean it up. They gave me some ammunition, and then I would fire at the airplanes as they flew over. And every day they came over, hundreds of them, and they fired. They wrecked all our planes were on the ground. All our barracks were burned down, and they sent me on an errand. My first sergeant would send me on an errand. I could hear the bullets going around me, zing, 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 all around me. I don't know how I never got hit.
How did you happen to get into the military? Well, my senior year, during my senior year, all the senior medical students were called together, and there was an old colonel in the medical corps. I think he was old enough to retire almost. Was around recruiting people to join the reserve. He claimed that there was no chance of our being called on active duty, and he related that diploma, that certificate, would look great on the walls of our office when we were in a private practice. And he conned about half of the males in my class into becoming a first lieutenant in the Medical Corps Reserve.
The bad thing about the infantry is there's no end, you know. You didn't go back for a rest. Maybe for 1 or 2 days you'd go back. You'd be back with the artillery resting where the big guns were shooting. So there was not a lot of hope. The other parts of the service had hope for so many flights, you know, you go home, and so many trips, you get something else, but infantry soldiers never got anything. Just a treadmill to oblivion.
Was your B-17 shot down on the way to Berlin or on the way coming back?
On the way coming out. We were in a little old town, was about 90 miles southeast of Berlin on the way back, and when it blew up 2 minutes after I got out, I know that there was 3 men dead, 2 waist gunners, and the co-pilot was dead. Yeah, we got hit by flak, and of course we got shot up by the fighters too, German fighters. Well, they had a flying field there.
Okay.
And this little town. That's where they picked us up and took us down to Frankfurt on the Main.
And was that where the POW camp was?
No, I was in Stalag 3.
Okay.
Up at Saarbrücken, Germany. I finally wound up that way. My brother was up there. My brother got shot down in 1943 out on a raid to submarine pens.
When I was back there, I was heating, in the wintertime in the desert, it's cold, and I was heating up a can of coffee in a canteen cup over a can of Sterno, and here comes this Jeep up with one star on there, and we all knew who the hell that was. That was Teddy Roosevelt Jr., boy, and that was our, that didn't have to be told. We got up and threw him a salute there. And he looked and sounded just like his father. He said, "Coffee ever tastes better when it's cooked out in the open." "That's right, General. Would you like a cup?" "Don't mind if I do." And he came over and sat on his heel. I gave him my cup. He drank half, and I finished the other half. So I had the honor of sharing a cup of coffee with my hero, Teddy Roosevelt Jr.
Whenever we got the B-17s with two nose 50s in there, it was in the G's, I think it was, that we got the first one. But there ought to be some other way to, I don't like war. I don't like it.